One of the main reasons I do this show is that it always annoyed me how the outrage meter of mainstream media was just totally broken. They would never get outraged at the things that they should be outraged about, and they would get outraged at things they shouldn't care about at all, right? Like whatever celebrity gossip there is, or whatever, naughty word some comedian said or something. Well, here's a great example of, in a world that made sense, this would be a big story, and everybody would be talking about it, and we'd be publicly debating it, and Congress would be debating it, but none of that's happening. So in Democracy Now!, U.S. launches Somalia airstrike, killing 12 al-Shabaab fighters, according to the Pentagon. So that last part is super important, according to the Pentagon. Because remember, according to our own government, when Biden did that drone strike in Afghanistan on the way out, it's okay, we got ISIS members. Then we learned soon thereafter, literally none of them were ISIS members, and we just killed civilians. Okay? So, little asterisk by the al-Shabaab thing. Is it possible it's al-Shabaab? Of course it's possible. Do we know for sure? Definitely not. They would need to present evidence on that front. Remember, guys, we just did a segment. There was a great piece in ProPublica, phenomenal, detailed reporting over the course of years about basically the assassination campaign we had ongoing in Afghanistan, and we were murking innocent people left and right. You guys know, under Trump, there was a 432% increase in drone strikes. Under Obama, we had, because of Daniel Hale, we know this, he was a whistleblower, and now he's in prison because of it, 90% the wrong people we would kill. So this notion of like, it's okay, we're highly technological and intelligent, and we have laser-guided precision munitions that could kill a flea from 17,000 miles away. All that, it's nonsense, it's propaganda, it's garbage, that's not true. So they say 12 al-Shabaab fighters were killed. We don't know, maybe, maybe not. Right? Let's just go with that. Agnosticism. Maybe, maybe not. But the question is, why are we bombing Somalia? And when did we debate this in Congress? When did it pass? Did Biden get a formal declaration of war? Remember, under our Constitution, Congress has to declare war. Now, they've created all sorts of loopholes to that with the War Powers Act, and, they say, if it's for national defense, there's a different, it's a different process, and the president is the commander-in-chief, but they're abusing that to no end. So really, the justification they use is, remember the War on Terror? That declaration from way back when? From like 2001? We're just going to bomb wherever we want and then say it's because of the declaration of war and the War on Terror that we can go into any country we want. Well, that's insanity. That's ludicrous. And it wasn't al-Shabaab who attacked us. Al-Shabaab is terrible. They're horrendous terrorists. But they didn't attack us on 9/11. So you need to get authority on this specifically if you're going to do it. So they say the following in Democracy Now! The Pentagon says U.S. forces killed 12 al-Shabaab fighters in an airstrike in a remote area of Somalia on Friday, claiming no civilians were injured or killed. It was impossible to independently verify the claim. By the way, that's what they rely on, right? The media is not going to check. They don't have any investigative reporters on the ground. They'll just be stenographers to the Pentagon. Yeah, we killed all the bad guys. Last year, the Biden administration redeployed hundreds of special operations troops to Somalia after then President Trump withdrew them in 2020. So, rare instance of Trump just flat out bringing troops home. And look, got to keep it real. I'm sure his rationale was very similar to what mine would be, which is, why are we in Somalia? What are we doing? Did we debate this? Was it approved? What do the American people think of this? It's think of the stark contrast. We have a train that just derailed in Ohio, East Palestine, with a colossal chemical fire that is poisoning certainly the animals, probably the people too, but we have dead fish everywhere. We have dead cats. There were foxes that died. I don't know if dogs are affected. I haven't seen reports on that, but they very possibly are. You have this colossal chemical fire, this ecological disaster. Biden has said nothing on it. And then you get a headline like a week later, it's okay, we're bombing Somalia. Well, I would appreciate it if you care about the problems we have here at home. Remember the Jackson, Mississippi water crisis? You remember that? Where the water infrastructure stopped working? They're like, oh, shit, damn, that's crazy. And they were just caught like, these are the things we need to address. And they passed an infrastructure bill, but it's nowhere near enough. We're not even spending the amount of money we need to just upgrade to just do the upkeep. I'd be in favor of making it the #1 infrastructure in the world, spending trillions and trillions of dollars trying to make it the envy of the world, because that's an investment in our future. They're not doing that. It's a little patchwork here and there around the edges. And we're wasting money bombing Somalia. And also, I just don't, you guys know this, they just don't tell the truth about who we're actually killing. And so, go ahead, tell me, did you see any of this on CNN? Did you see any of this on MSNBC? Did you see it on Fox News? Did you see it on the nightly news? Or is this not even, like, this is the thing that drives me crazy. It's just like, it's not even, people, they're indifferent to it. They don't care. They don't care. Meanwhile, this is happening with our money in our name. There was no debate. There was no approval. There's no public opinion poll that shows, yeah, this is actually what people want in what's supposed to be a representative democracy in a constitutional republic. So they just, the role is just, hey, we're the world's sole superpower. We're just going to do what we want when we want, and we don't even need to provide any justification. Amazing. Amazing. We're also still occupying Syria and jacking their oil. Trump was very honest and open about that. Like, yeah, we're stealing Syria's oil. I mean, Trump said that we should have done that in Iraq, too. That's what he said. Just openly saying war crimes. Yeah, let's do it. Now, Biden's continuing on this front. Look, to Biden's credit, he has massively, massively, massively reduced the drone war. That's a fact. The numbers bear it out. And he did pull all the troops out of Afghanistan. Now, he's starving the country, which is just as bad, if not worse. But at least he got the boots on the ground out of there. That's good. But it just, the machine always continues. The machine always goes on. And it drives me crazy. For the love of God, can somebody else talk about this? Why do I have to be the only one to talk about it? I'm just an asshole YouTuber. That's all I am. Can some big media person pick up on this? Can somebody give us some deep reporting on this? Can we have a breaking news banner that talks about how we're... And by the way, how much does each... Just out of curiosity, I wonder how much each missile costs. Right? They were talking about this with the unidentified flying object that was shot down over Lake Huron. There was an article like each missile's like $439,000 or something. It's like, ugh. We can do this. We can police the world. We can dump money into the Pentagon where it vanishes. They can't account for 59% of their assets, trillions of dollars gone. They failed their last 5 audits. We can keep spending money endlessly on that. Or we can do what the people want and give everybody health care and give everybody child care and give everybody free education or trade school. I know which one I want. I know which one you want. I know which one the polls show the people want. But I also know what we're going to do. And I also know how the media is not going to do their job being a watchdog of the government for you. They're just not going to do it. So there you go. U.S. bombing Somalia. No debate over it. No approval for it. No discussion of it. Just, you live in the twilight zone where nobody cares, nobody says anything, and democracy now has to report it, and I'm like the only one talking about it. Insanity. People who are neocons or just pro-hawkish foreign policy, like liberal interventionists, they will say, look, Al-Shabaab are some of the worst terrorists in the world. They're jihadists. We got to go after them. We got to kill them before they kill us. Okay. You would actually need evidence that they're going to attack us before you attack them to say, oh, we're doing self-defense. But even to the idea, they're extremists, their ideology is bad, and they're hurting people. That may be true. But you know what's just as true? Saudi Arabia, one of our top allies, are extremists. They're Salafists. So they believe in a rigid fundamentalist Sunni version of Islam, and they keep down women. They oppress gays. They oppress infidels and people who are non-believers. They have super socially conservative rules and norms. They behead people in the public square for apostasy and sorcery and witchcraft and all sorts of nonsense. They are doing a genocide in Yemen right now with our help and our money and our weapons. And so if you actually were concerned about fighting back against Islamic extremism, hey, fair enough. But you know what you do first? Go to our allies, people we actually have some sway over, and try to talk them out of some of their harshest policies. Try to limit the amount of funding you give them, subsidies you give them, weapons you give them. You'll have more sway over your allies than you will over your enemies. So if you actually cared about limiting Islamic extremism, you would start with Saudi Arabia. But they don't do that. They look the other way, and they prop up Saudi Arabia, and they help Saudi Arabia, and they fund Saudi Arabia, and they arm Saudi Arabia, while they say, bro, we're fighting Islamic extremism. We just bombed al-Shabaab in Somalia. Yeah, I'm sure they were a super serious threat. They were just on the verge of bombing Tuscaloosa. It's so unserious. If you want to see me and Crystal Ball interview legends like Noam Chomsky, Cornel West, and more, subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. $5 a month gets you the video version a day early. Remember, we take 0 ad dollars for this podcast. Or you can sign up on Substack for free and get the audio version a day later. Link in the video description box below.